Hi everybody, it's Mirav, and this is an overview of Joomla Digistore tax system. Digistore's new tax system is comprehensive and it covers every possible aspect of handling taxes on your store. It has some default values to help you get started, and you can use it in a basic or advanced way, whatever suits your needs. Let's go over the different sections related to tax on your Digistore backend. Start with the product tax classes manager. Here you can define different tax classes. We have by default just one, general, but you can define as many as you want, and it's pretty easy. You just click new. You enter the name of the tax class. For example, new tax class, and you click save. There you go, you finished adding a tax class. When you create a new product, you will be able to choose one of those tax classes you defined here, and this way each product has its own tax class, and then it gives you a lot of flexibility because you can have different tax classes to different products. Let's move on to the next section of the class system, customer tax classes. Here you can define different customer tax classes based on your needs. The most common way you can use this feature is to set a class for retail customers and for wholesale customers. And then on the general tab here, you can specify if you want your customers to be able to choose their customer tax class or not. For example, you may not want them to be able to choose that they are wholesale, because then some people might abuse it. So this way you can choose if you want to let them choose their customer tax class or not. And here it is. This is where you can select it. Okay. So by default, customers are not allowed to choose their tax class. Only admin can choose it. So if you go to the customers here on managers, on customers manager, you'll be able to choose for each customer what customer tax class they are. Okay, let's move on to tax rates. The tax rate manager allows you to set tax rates based on country, state, and zip codes. You can even upload your own file with different tax rates and create a list of tax rates, and you can see an example of how a file like that should look like. Here it is. And let's take a look from the inside. As you can see, I created a tax rate by default, and I called it USA California, and the country is United States, the state is California, and it's every zip code. That's why I have the asterisk here. And the rate I want it to be is 8.25%. This covers, so every person who lives in the United States or California, and California in the United States, in every zip code will pay 8.25% tax rate. So this basically gives you unlimited control over your tax rates. You can like I said, you can upload your own tax rates, you can create your own tax rates, it's not a problem. Let's move on to tax rules. Tax rules are where everything comes together. You can set a rule based on the customer tax rate, the product tax class, and the tax rate, and even the product family. Let's take a look at this tax rate here, a rule. As you can see, I define here a rule that is for retail and wholesale customers. The product tax class is general. The tax rate is USA, California. And the product family is everything. But I can also change it to have just for certain products or just for wholesale customers and stuff like that. There's another thing that is related to the tax, and it's the product families, and it's right under the product sub-menu. This takes you to the product families manager, where you can create and add product families. For example, software, hardware, etc., based on your needs. So whatever you sell on your store, for example, if you have different products and you want to set different tags to the different product types, then this is where you define the product families. For example, some countries they don't charge tax on virtual products, so then you'll have to define here virtual, and then on the tax rules define that you don't have to pay tax for this kind of product.